Hi, I'm Gabie. This is Gabie's Knit Goodies, and this is the Alpine Bloom Tee by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. And this is knit out of Gabie's Knit Goodies hand-dyed yarn. It's my own hand-dyed yarn in peacock blue, and new growth is the contrast color. And as you can see, I have a little extra room in this one because I knit 2 to 3 sizes larger than what the pattern would call for my size, because I actually knit this one for my mother. So Mom, if you're watching, this is the spoiler. So I will talk all the details here in this video, but I wanted to give you a full shot of it before I sat down and got into gauge and everything else. It's a full top down, full yoked sweater, and it has these beautiful blooms, hence the name Alpine Bloom. And it has the beautiful unique detail along the neckline here of the lace, which I absolutely love. There you go. And it's super soft and cozy in merino nylon fingering weight yarn. And I actually kind of like it with all of this room. So if I knit one for myself, I might actually go large on this. And you could do like a nice little front tuck. I think it's kind of cute, big. So, alright, let's get into the details. Okay, let's talk about all of the nitty gritty of the project here. We will start with the yarn. In her pattern, she suggests Moondrake Company for the main colorway, which will do all that body work in. And it is a 60% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 20% ramie, which I think is similar to nylon. Don't quote me on that one. And it's in Pika Pika is the name of the type of yarn, the line of yarn that has that combination of fibers. And it is 400 yards per 100 grams of fingering weight yarn, but on the thicker side of fingering weight. And the contrast color she uses is spin cycle yarns. If you look at her pattern, it the color changes a little bit back and forth in her color work. And that is a dyed in the wool, 100% superwash American wool. And it is 200 yards per skein, and it is a sport weight. And I think that is 50 meters, so 200 yards per 50 meters. She's calling that sport weight, or spin cycle does, but I think that's about the same same weight as the 400 yards per 100 grams. And they're calling that fingering weight. So those terms are a little bit not clearly defined, I guess. There's a little overlap between fingering weight and sport weight, I would say. And her colors she used in the sample are Winter Ocean for the main color and Moonbeams for the contrast color. In this particular version that I did, I used my own yarn because I dye yarn, and it's there's a lot to be said for taking the yarn that's bare and then dyeing it and then knitting up a project with it. It just takes my hand knit, like, the pleasure of it up a level, to know that I've not only knit every stitch, but I also dyed the yarn. I don't know. It's just kind of, it's fun. I really like it. And I like hand-dyed yarns too, because it's the whole reason I got into dyeing yarn, because of the variety in hand-dyed yarn. It's not static. It's got a lot of interest to it. Anyways, I'm getting totally sidetracked, and I apologize. So I used fingering weight yarn. It is 75% merino and 25% nylon, and it is in the colorway Peacock and New Growth for the contrast color. And the Peacock is a tonal, so you'll notice some variation in the blue, but it is all over blue. And then the New Growth is a variegated yarn, and so it has like green, like this yellowy green and cream, as well as just a little hints of pink in it. I don't know if y'all could see that. I should probably have taken this off to show it to you. Maybe I'll do that towards the end. And the amount of yarn. Like I said, I knit a size 5 because I knit it for as a gift. And in her pattern, she calls for 943 yards, which is 682 meters of the main colorway. And that would be 3 skeins of yarn, because it would be, you would just barely be getting into that 3rd skein of yarn, just a little bit, because they're 400 yards a piece. My yarn is 463 yards per 100 grams, and I had a little bit left over of the main colorway, and I only used 2 skeins. So 2 skeins gives me 27 yards, and that was more than enough for me to do the size 5. And then for the contrast color, she suggests 375 yards of that spin cycle yarn, and that's 2 skeins because they're in 50-gram balls. And mine comes in 100-gram skeins, 463 yards per skein, and I used like half. So I used 230 maybe yards for this contrast color, but it was right borderline on the 50-gram mark. So having the whole skein meant I had more than enough for sure to do that contrast color. I really love how that turned out though. I like it's high contrast, and I like the little bit of variation in that contrast color, but it doesn't blend in with the main color at all. Okay. If I were to have knit this for myself, I would have knit a size 2 or 3, and this is a size 5. So it's a good bit bigger on me than if I had knit according to the pattern for my own size, because this is a gift knit. So the bust circumference should be 2 to 8 inches or 5 to 20.5 centimeters positive ease, meaning bigger than your bust circumference. And for the size 5, that would be 52 inches. And when I did my measurement, as you know, how much you block something or tug it can make it a little wider or not. And I got between 50 and 52 inches for this one. When I did my gauge, I met gauge at 24 stitches per 4 inches. And I measured it after blocking in this whole garment before this video, and 32 rounds per 4 inches, and I also met that as well. So it did work out on gauge and on pattern size. Now I don't know that she mentions the width of the arm, but here right before the cuff, my arm diameter or circumference here is between 16 and 17 inches. So it's got lots of room for me and should fit a little tighter on the recipient, hopefully, because it's how it's supposed to fit in the pattern, although I really like it big. I think it's very nice. Let's see, and I used the recommended needles, which the size she has on here is US size 3 for the ribbing, and for this little lace work here, as well as a size 4 for the main body. I did go up to a size 5 on my color work because my gauge tends to be a little tighter on color work than stockinette stitch, and I did not want it to have one gauge here and then kind of balloon out from there. So I went up to a size 5 for my color work, and then for the main body went back down to a size 4, and that worked out really well for me. My gauge ended up being consistent doing it that way between the color work and the main body. And that's about it. I think, for all of the numbers here. She gives you option about doing just a ribbing on the sleeves instead of doing the lace work. I did choose to do the lace work. I feel like I stuck with a size 4 for this part, and I should look it up in the pattern to see what she says for it. But this sticks out a little bit more than I wanted, and then when I blocked it, like, it, make sure you don't pull at this edge when you block it, because it sticks out a little bit. I think if I spray it a little bit and let it relax, it'll be better, because after blocking, like, my corners right here, where it was like laid flat and kind of adjusted, just kind of stuck out. But I will look this up to see if she mentions this little lace cuff to the sleeves, if she mentions reducing her needle size. It looks like she does use the main needles for that. And it is an applied lace edging. So the body, let's talk about construction. You start here and you do your lace work, and then you increase and do your yoke, and then you slip for your sleeves and put the sleeves on waste yarn, and then you knit the body, and it's just a ribbing at the bottom of the body. And then you actually cast on for your edging, your cuffs of your sleeves. You don't pick up, like, keep your stitches that were on waste yarn and just knit down from there. You actually pick it up and knit up. I know some people in the test knitters thread found a way to work from the live stitches down, kind of reversed the patterning or reversed the directions so that they could knit it that way. But yeah, I'm not sure how they did that. In the pattern, you cast on for your sleeves cuff and you knit that little lace work up, and then you join it to your live stitches. Let's see. I think, yeah, you graft it on like a Kitchener stitch. You graft on your little lace cuff onto those live stitches, which was not that big of a deal, and it worked out just fine. I know some people also did like a 3-needle bind off type thing, which left an extra little ridge there for them as an alternative way to attach it. Like I said, the only change I would make is I would probably maybe cast on the edge with the main needles and then go back down to that size 3 to do the rest of it, at least to do this little portion. So you have, let's see if I can show this. Maybe I should take it off. So you have this little lace, which does lay nice and flat, but then you have this little ridge here, which is like a purl, and then an eyelet row, and then another purl row, and it sits out, which I don't mind it sitting out, but I feel like it would just look slightly neater if I had done this section specifically, that little purl with the little lace eyelets, in a smaller needle. Like on the neck here, it has the same patterning, but this was in the smaller needles, and I just think it looks a little tidier. Maybe that's also because it's being a little bit more pulled by the rest of the body. So that's the only thing I probably would have changed. Alright, so here's a close-up of the neckline, that pretty little lace, as well as my beautiful color work. And then the cuff. And one thing I forgot to mention, there are short rows in the back. So it does raise the back just a bit. And as you can tell, it's deeper here than it is here in the front. I like the fit of short rows in the back. So, if I knit it for myself, I would probably knit the large size and probably go a little more earth tone because I like a little closer to neutrals for me. Although I really like this combo and I really like this blue, so I guess it depends what mood I am when I start to cast on. And I would probably just do a ribbed edging on my sleeves, not because this was difficult. In fact, I liked the extra interest, especially. I would definitely leave the neck, but just because I like a slightly less girly vibe to my clothing, I just don't pick up the girlier stuff as much. I might be the wrong way to phrase it, but I would probably just do a rib. It's simple. I like simple. Yeah. So anyways, I think this would look really pretty for the fall. I know she's coming out with a long sleeve version. I think it would be really pretty in like a rust color. Rusty brown color is the main body. And then doing, goodness, I don't know, either just a cream, I think like a rust brown for the main body, and then like a cream for the color work, I think would be really pretty. Really, really pretty. Or even doing like a deeper blue for the body, and then doing like a coffee colorway for the contrast. So you'd have like that deep blue plus the like tannish color for the color work. I think that'd be pretty. I have a dark and stormy colorway, and I'm considering making a sweater main body out of that, and then doing the coffee with cream colorway as my contrast. I don't know. Anyways, let me know if you knit this sweater, or she has a hat that's just come out with the same beautiful flower Alpine Bloom color work on it. And she has a long sleeve version coming out sometime soon, I think. So let me know if you knit any of the Alpine Bloom series that Caitlin Hunter has. And yeah, anyways, happy knitting, and let me know if you have any questions about this sweater or anything else. I will be happy to answer whatever I can. Bye!